Hey guys, I'm Madison, and today I just want to make a video for anybody who's thinking of joining the Air Force. I'm going to give some basic tips about BMT, like what you can expect. I just graduated BMT pretty recently. Of course, if you're watching this video like 5 years later, then it's not going to be that recent. But I graduated BMT September of last year, 2018, because it's 2019 now. So it's still pretty recent. I've heard they've kind of changed some things already, but the Air Force is always changing things, so pretty sure most of the things are still pretty much the same now. So I can give you some basic ideas on what to expect and maybe ease your mind a little bit if you have any questions. So yeah, also I have a list right here in front of me, so if you see me like looking down, because I'm looking at my list. So yeah, I'll just stop rambling now and get into the video. So the first thing I want to talk about is when you first get off the bus. Your first night when you get there. Oh, I have to say, that was probably one of the worst nights I've experienced. Only because, okay, so like, you get there, you're super tired because you've been at MEPS all day long. So you've been like doing medical stuff. You've been up since like 4 in the morning. You're super tired. All you want to do is go to bed. So I remember leaving MEPS, like I'd been up since 4 that morning, as I just said, and I got on an airplane, flew to San Antonio, Texas, got there pretty late that night. I believe it was like 10 p.m. or something like that. It was late for me. And then we got on a bus, and then they drove us all to base. And immediately, as soon as you get there, so you'll have a sergeant come up. You're all like super scared because you don't know what to expect. It's like, you know, like what are they gonna do to us? So yeah. You get there, a sergeant will come greet you on the bus, and you'll be like, all right, you got, say, like 30 seconds to get off, all of you to get off this bus. So you got all your bags and stuff sitting in your lap on the bus, and there's like, you know, a bunch of you in there, and you all got to get off the bus quick, like very quick. And so you'll go inside like the little, well, it's like a welcome building type. I don't even know what it's called, but it's like the very first building that you go into when you first get off the bus. And you go into this big auditorium and you just sit there. So they're like yelling at you. They're like telling you where to go. I remember as soon as we got there, I think we had to tuck our shirts in our pants and like put our hair back in a ponytail or whatever, or like in a bun. So like we were immediately like, you're not a civilian anymore. Like you gotta immediately kind of start the habit of, you know, tucking your shirt in, putting your hair up, stuff like that. So yeah, you go in, you sit in this big auditorium, and it's like super late at night, you're all tired, and you're basically just waiting for all the other people to get there. And the reason you're sitting in this auditorium is because they're going to assign you to which flight you're going to. So they'll like go through the list, and I remember sitting in there until 5 in the morning. And it's because they had to get all of us, they had to call off all of our names and tell us which flight we were going to be in. So they're like, you know, they'll call your name, they'll be like, you're gonna be in this group, so you'll like get up and go with your group or whatever, you get in a line. And yeah, then they'll take you to this room. That's where you'll get like it's like a black backpack, and they'll put like basic stuff in it, like deodorant and toothbrush, toothpaste, shower shoes, like basic stuff that you kind of need. Yeah, so that first night was like the longest night of my life. I never have felt that long of a day. It was, oh, it's pretty stressful. But yeah, so after all that's over with, they'll let you go to your dormitory, and that's where you will be spending that whole 8 weeks. And you'll kind of see, you know, who you're gonna be with. You know, there's like 50 people per dorm, just pretty much. So like, yeah, you can imagine putting 50 females all in the same room. It's pretty stressful. Yeah, so if you're like one of those people that likes privacy and needs your personal space, you can forget about that, because you're not gonna have any more privacy, especially when you start, like, I mean, you gotta shower every day, because, you know, you're nasty if you don't. But yeah, so I kind of worried about, that was one thing I was concerned about, because I always heard, like, you know, you shower out in the open and there's no like private stalls, which is so true. You know, you just walk in there, take your shower, and get out, you know? And it's honestly, it's not that weird as you think it would be, even though you're naked in front of like a bunch of strangers at first. Like, okay, the first time I was uncomfortable, but it really is not that bad, because like you just get used to it, honestly, because you're gonna be with those people for 8 weeks. So by the end of it, we didn't even think nothing about it, honestly. Like, you're like, I don't know, it's not even bad. So don't even worry about the showering part, because you're so, like, especially when you first get there, you're so busy like trying to get stuff done, because you're in a rush, because you only have so much time to get ready. Like a BMT shower, sometimes I would take like 2-minute showers, which I know sounds gross, but you're really just like trying to get everything clean as fast as you can, because you got to get dressed, because usually your MTI will be like, if you don't know what MTI means, it means military training instructor, just in case you don't know that. But your MTI will be like, okay, you got 15 minutes before I come back. If you're not all dressed, you know, you don't want to do that. You better all be dressed before he comes back, or her, whoever it is. So yeah, you know, quick showers, get in, get out. It's not that weird. Yeah. Oh, and also like during your first week, so you're pretty much learning like the basics. Like you're learning like basic customs and courtesies that you do in the military. You're learning how to make a bed, and how to set up your wall locker, which is critical. You have to pass your wall locker inspections, or you know, you can't make it through BMT. That's like critical. Make sure you pass your wall locker inspections, because you know, if you fail it, it's not good. So there's a certain way. You'll have a dorm guide, and it basically, it's just a little, you know, it's like a book, and you go through it, and it'll have everything in there that you need to know to pass your wall locker inspections, because everything has to be in a certain place. So like your first drawer will have like your personal items in it, so you'll have your deodorant, toothpaste, toothbrush, hairbrushes, hair gel, you know, like nail clippers, basic stuff. And then you'll also have like a security tray inside of your drawer, and it's just like this little tray that like sits on top of the drawer, and that'll keep like all your valuables in it. So like if you brought a credit card with you, which I definitely recommend, take a debit or credit card with you and some cash. So yeah, take some money with you, and it'll stay in that little security tray. And make sure you keep it locked up. Do not leave your wall locker unlocked, because you'll get like, they'll give you a lock and a key, and you'll always keep the key around your neck. So it's like your responsibility to make sure that you keep your wall locker locked, or you will get in trouble if you get caught, because like the EC monitors, which are basically like your flight, that's another topic though. Like you'll have like EC shifts, and there'll be like you and another person will do like a 2-hour shift, and it's basically like security, like you're securing the dorm, you're doing checks, making sure everybody's asleep, making sure all the wall lockers are locked and the doors are secure, whatever. So yeah, but they do like drawer checks every night, and like if they catch your locker being, gosh, I can't talk. If they catch your locker being unlocked, then they'll tell your MTI, and then kind of get in trouble for it. So yeah, make sure you do that. So yeah, and everything in that drawer has to be placed a certain way too. It has to be like you'll also have like a towel in there, and yeah, it has to be a certain way. But you'll see when you get there, they'll show you how to do it. You'll learn how to roll your socks. Your socks have to be rolled a certain way. Your t-shirts have to be folded a certain way. Towel has to be folded. Let's see. Oh, you have to do like laundry marks on your stuff. That way your laundry doesn't get mixed in with other people's. Yeah, so make sure all that stuff is done correctly, because it's very important. It's critical if you want to get through BMT. Because like when I was there, I was thinking all this small stuff was like I was like, what's the point of doing all this simple stuff? But if you think about it, if you can't make your bed, if you can't clip the strings off your uniform, take pride in it, roll your socks a certain way, if you can't do those simple things, then how can you be trusted to do an actual job in the military? It really makes sense, because you got to know how to do the simple stuff, how to take orders, and do it right before you're going to be trusted in the actual Air Force. So those things are important. You may think it's silly at the time when you're there, but you need to get it done. So the next thing I want to talk about would be like phone calls and letters. So I know a lot of people wonder like how often you can make phone calls home to your family. I want to say the 8 weeks we were there, we probably got like about 6 phone calls. I think I think that's right, something like that anyways. But yeah, you don't really get to talk to your family that often, or your friends, whoever it may be. I just know like when you do get to make a phone call though, oh my gosh, that is like, okay, everybody's always in tears whenever we get to call home or wherever. Like, oh my gosh, everybody was so emotional. But that is literally the best thing, is getting to call after you've had like a long stressful week, and you get to call home and you're getting to like fill in your family on everything that you're going through, letting them know that you're okay, and just hearing their voice, it's so great. So yeah, make sure that you do take your phone and your charger with you, because you won't get to keep it with you, but the MTIs will take it and they like store it in a certain place. So yeah, you can't get to it at all. But if your flight's good, so like if you're like all of you are performing performing good together, then you can get like extra phone calls. It'll be like a little reward sometimes. So yeah, but the alternative to phone calls are letters. And letters are everything. I have to say, that's really what got me through BMT mentally, was receiving a letter. And I'm so thankful. My mom, she never missed a night of writing me, and I was so thankful for that, because she'd always send me like Bible verses and letting me like filling me in what was going on back at home, and telling me about people back home, and that was just so helpful to me. And I looked forward to like reading my letters every night. Of course, you don't get letters on the weekend, obviously, because the mail doesn't run on the weekends. But yeah, like Monday through Friday, your MTI will bring in the mail, and you'll all like circle up, and he'll call out your names and you'll go up and get it from him. And that is just the best thing, is getting those letters. And that's another thing I recommend, is bring like a notepad or like a journal with you, and stamps and envelopes. Take those things with you. You know, it's just really helpful, because, you know, you want to write letters back, because whenever you receive letters from your family, you want to like write them back, let them know what's been going on with you. It just helps you too, because it feels like you're getting to talk with them and everything. So yeah, I recommend doing that, because I kept all of my letters throughout BMT that I received from like my family and my friends and like my church family, and that helped me so much, like tremendously. That's really what helped me through BMT. Because when you're there in a new environment with a bunch of new people, and you got all these high-ranking people yelling at you and you know, kind of scaring you a little, it gets a little stressful. But yeah, I recommend, you know, taking a notepad with you so you can write back home. My next thing I want to talk about is chow. So the food in BMT, everybody has like their own opinion on it, because I heard some girls say like they thought it was disgusting because, you know, they just didn't like it. Other girls were like, it's not that bad, and the other girls were like, oh, this is really good. So like, I don't know, I can't really tell you what the food's like, because you may have a different opinion on it, but me personally, I thought it was good. Like, I didn't mind BMT food. Yeah, it was not a home-cooked meal, but you know, you can't compare to that. It's better than what I thought it would be, honestly. So like, you'll go through a line and you can pick what you want. So they usually always have fish, and they always have chicken, and the chicken's always dry. I don't know why, but it's always dry. But I always got chicken, because I like chicken. And yeah, and then they have like, the place I was at, they had like a little salad bar, and they always have soup, and like sometimes they'll have like pasta, and I don't know, they got a bunch of different stuff to choose from. They always got vegetables, and yeah, but the food, it's not that bad in my opinion. But I have to say, the chow hall was probably like the most stressful place for me, in my opinion, because especially those first couple weeks when you get there, because you got sergeants like all over you, because like, so when you're in the line, you have to hold your tray, and your head and eyes stay straight forward. Like, you do not look around. You keep your face forward, and you hold your tray through the line, and you sidestep, and yeah, so I don't know, it was always just stressful for me, because there's a certain way, like a certain place you have to sit in the dining hall. So you'll have chow runners. You'll understand what that means whenever you get there. It's basically people that will go in and seat you. It's members of your flight. Like, you could be a chow runner if that's something you want to volunteer for. I never volunteered to do it because I was scared. But yeah, so you'll go in and you'll have chow runners, and they'll tell you where to sit. So they'll like point to where you gotta go. They'll be like, back ma'am, or front ma'am, and you'll be like, front ma'am, thank you ma'am. You'll understand when you get there. At least that's what we said when we were there. And yeah, so if they say back, obviously you sit in the back of the table. If you say front, you sit in the front of the table. Yeah, it's pretty simple. But for some reason, as simple as it was, I could never get it right. So I remember one time I was going through and I had my tray in my hands, and you know, I could never really understand which way to go. So my chow runner said, back ma'am, and I said, back ma'am, thank you ma'am. And even though I knew she said back, for some reason I went to the front, and then I had this MTI right next to me. What do you think you're doing? And I like jumped, and yeah, my water went everywhere, and my plate went on the floor, and yeah, it was kind of a mess. And I was like, oh shoot, I need to clean this up. And they're like, just leave it, just go back to the line and get another plate. So I was like, oh shoot. So yeah, just make sure like you'll kind of get it like whenever you get there, you'll kind of understand where to sit. But even when you're eating, there's a certain place that you have to sit and everything, and you don't get to just sit wherever you want. So yeah, that's just the story though. Sorry, I kind of got off on a rant. But yeah, something to kind of consider. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got. I know this was like a really long video, but I kind of wanted to give you guys a basic idea of what to expect. Because, graduate, like, I didn't talk about graduating. Yeah, graduation day, so like probably the last 2 weeks, so when you get, like, whenever you're like a 7th or an 8th weeker, you know, it's like, everything's a little bit more chill and laid back, and I don't know, you're not getting yelled at as much because your flight's pretty much getting good at marching, and you're good at, you know, understanding what you're supposed to do, kind of getting the hang of things. Well, you pretty much do have the hang of things by the time you finish, but, or you better anyways. But, yeah, graduation was literally, like, one of the best days of my life. Like, I was so happy on graduation. Like, I can't even describe that feeling. Like, despite all of the hard stuff that you go through, that graduation day makes it worth it all, in my opinion. Like, there's just a sense of pride that you have, and, you know, your family can come see you and graduate. And I remember, you know, walking out in the outside, seeing all the people and all the different families sitting up in the bleachers, and then you know your family's up there somewhere watching you, and it's just, it's so emotional. But yeah, it's just great, and it gives you a sense of pride that, you know, you made it through the training, you did it all on your own. You know, you made it through those 8 weeks even though they were tough, and you know, you're now considered to be like an airman, so you're not like a trainee anymore. Even though you're not really considered in the military until you get operational, so like you need to go through your tech school also, but still, you're not really considered a trainee anymore. So yeah, it's a great feeling, and you know, I can't really speak for everybody, but I just think if you're thinking about joining the military, then I suggest you do, because you're never gonna know what it's like until you actually try it. So I mean, yeah, there's so many other things that you could do, but I don't think there's anything better that anybody can do for themselves instead of joining the military, just considering all the benefits, because it's rewarding. It's like a rewarding experience, and it just gives you a sense of pride, something to be proud of. It makes your family proud too. So you know, it's, you know, if you're not good at following orders, and you know, you're not good at being away from your family, and you know, then the military may not be for you. But if you think you can do it, then go for it, because I think it's great. I don't have any regrets, so I'm really proud of what I've done, and yeah, I suggest you do it too. So I don't mean to keep rambling, but this was my tips for BMT, and I hope this helped you some, and maybe like answered some of your questions if you had questions about BMT. And yeah, if you guys want me to make a video about like what tech school is like, I'm in security forces, so if you're going in security forces or considering that career field, let me know. I can make a video about security forces tech school. So yeah, let me know. Thanks for watching. Bye.